They drove into the outskirts of Lahaina. The blazing sun the town was named for already high and hot, the ocean a glittering blue plate of glass off to the left. As they drove back toward Lahaina's main shopping and art route, on a busy 4-lane, tree-lined boulevard lay Tudor Bottom Lip fiddling with the opalescent cart. Front Street had maintained its former whaling village charm, and the narrow shop-lined street facing the glittering ocean and a vista of the tiny island of Lanai was jammed with tourists and sightseers. Bono squeezed the oversized truck in between a pair of Hyundai rentals with the ease of practice. This is the description of Lahaina from a book from Toby Neal. The author was raised on the Hawaiian Islands. Her book series, the Paradise Crime Mysteries, are set on all of the Hawaiian Islands, one after another. Different books are set on different islands. This one is set on Maui. And sadly, what I just described no longer exists. And
so sad.
And with that, I welcome you to the Magnum PI podcast. And in this case, we're talking about how could we not Maui.
Yeah.
And to be fair, to be correct, it's from Black Jasmine from Toby Neal. So, it's Eve.
And Liz.
And Nicole. Hi.
And we're here to talk about, how could we not talk about the disaster that has struck Maui. It's a little bit more of a somber mood this time.
Yeah, not our usual
Oh.
happy-go-lucky podcast.
That also means we're not going to talk about the show or anything relating to the safe campaign because this is entirely inappropriate. We're talking about Maui.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And how sad we are. We're also talking about the fundraiser.
Yep.
So maybe we begin with the fundraiser before we're talking about the actual devastation, because if you're not in the right headspace to listen to that, you can just turn off of the fundraiser talk.
Yeah.
So currently until Monday, and I would say running beyond that if you give us a comment, until Monday at least, every donation going to the Save Magnum PI campaign GoFundMe, which is run by Nicole, goes to Maui. We haven't decided on a charity yet. We have scoped out two. One was started by Mia Adams, who was a background actor on the show, and one that heard it, and a lot of crew members actually donated to themselves. So we haven't decided which one. Maybe it's going to be both, but one of them will receive the money. If you decide to donate beyond Monday, I would say if you give us a comment, if you give us a heads up, obviously we will give the money to that charity in your name or in the fandom's name, to whatever you decide. Everything that comes in until Monday, that's going to Maui.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I know some people have had questions about the comments. They haven't been able to add a comment for Maui. So it's been really nice. People have reached out even on Instagram and kind of messaged me and said, "Hey, I didn't get to add a comment, but it's for Maui. So feel free to do that too if needed. So, or if you have any questions." Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people comment on the post and message me too, which obviously is related. I had a very cute one that was so funny. I'm not going to mention her name, but someone posted on Twitter how they chose to be anonymous, and Maui, her donation is for Maui, and she wants to stay anonymous while using her Twitter with her name. It's adorable. I made my morning yesterday because it's cute. Like,
it is cute.
I tried.
Yeah,
cute.
And we
absolutely.
get the intention, which is why we're not saying your name here.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
am
love
surprised
that.
there's a lot of anonymous donors this time around. So, before a lot of people had names, but now it's a lot of anonymous. And, it's even $5 donations. And how cool is that to have
Yeah.
even $5?
Mhm.
You give what you can. Some people are doing larger amounts, but that $5 adds up too. We're over $1,500 so far.
We had
Wow.
a
So,
very
yeah,
large
we're doing
amount
really
come in
well.
yesterday,
Yes, that is true.
Friday.
Yep.
Which
Yeah, and we
is
still have
nice.
3 more days, so that's great.
Yeah. I am, and I know you're with me there, Nicole. I am going to limit all the tweets that we send out for the weekend to Maui.
Yep.
I will be.
Your dog's having a moment.
Yep.
Something's talking in my bedroom.
And you live alone. That's not great.
That's why I'm looking like this.
Koa.
I say, yeah, it's got to be Koa related.
It is Koa related.
Is it not safe for work?
Oh, it is. It absolutely is safe for work. It's just
Okay.
wild. Waited.
I went somewhere else. It's fine.
Fucker turned on the TV.
Oh, good for
And he's now
him.
on the bed watching TV and was barking at the TV.
That's what he was barking at. Okay, got it. Okay.
Like I was saying before, I got interrupted by Barky Bark Bark, aka Koa. Every tweet, I will limit my tweets this weekend to Maui. Once I am tweeting, because I'm still under a very tight deadline that I'm trying to meet. So yeah, I'm going to be writing a lot and tweeting a little bit on the side.
Which is good.
And talking about Maui. And some of that stuff on Maui is scary.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to ask you guys now, if you don't want to listen to how the fires happened or what currently is known about the fires, this is your time to turn off because we're going to talk about the fires now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when did you guys hear about the fires? Before or after they struck Lahaina?
Yeah, you had actually messaged me about it. Yeah, so I didn't know anything about it until you had said something about fire. You had said something about fires, and I was like, "What fires? What are you talking about?"
Oh, right, I remember.
Yeah, and
that,
I was like, then you sent me a video. Yeah. So, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's devastating." Yeah.
I can't remember when I heard. I read it on the news, I think. I can't remember when.
I heard about a brush fire in Maui on Tuesday when it was still tiny.
Yeah.
And then, all hell broke loose in a way that I honestly didn't expect. Because some things went wrong. Completely wrong, as it turns out. So do you guys know anything about the timeline?
I can't say that I do, no.
No, I can't speak to it. No.
Oh boy. The timeline is worthy of a documentation. Really worthy of a documentation. Let me just check.
Yeah, I know within the last hour I was kind of taking a peek before we met, and the death toll has increased within the last hour.
It has?
Yeah, it's up to 67. It's the state's deadliest. The death toll is which is the highest that the state's ever incurred for a natural disaster. And there's still over 1,000 people missing.
Recorded. actually, because we cannot say what happened before.
Yeah. But yeah, that was within hot off the presses, I guess. But yeah, I don't know how fast it spread. I mean,
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so August 8th, which is Thursday? Tuesday, not Thursday. Sorry.
Tuesday,
yeah.
No, I had to think a second. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when the flames were first reported, which is also the day when I heard it. Oh my God, it's so shocking to me. So, an area near a school was evacuated in response to it, but shortly before 9 local time, Maui County's official website put out a statement in which they said that the brush fire had been 100% contained.
Oh.
Which is not true. Though they had added a little thing where they said winds in the area may remain a concern, which is also what happened. So around 4:45 that same day, the county said there is an apparent flare-up, which is exactly what happened. There's videos slowly emerging where residents look out their window and see winds and the smoke turning towards Lahaina and increasing speed. So in the age of social media, you can actually watch it happen, not in real time, but you can watch it happen because people filmed it. And there is another thing that made the catastrophe, I'm going to call it a catastrophe. I don't know if it's been classed as this, but that's made it
feels like it
worse.
Yeah, I was just say it feels like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go back to 2020 when I first touched down on Oahu. Liz knows this. I don't know if you know that, Nicole, but I touched down in the middle of a Kona low, which is a little bit of a storm, completely normal to happen on Hawaii, happens like at least once or twice a year. And I seem to hit these bitches every time. Travel with me and you're going to hit one. Basically, what happened is there was a risk of a flash flood. And Hawaii has one of these fancy things where everybody in the area with a smartphone gets an automatic alert onto their smartphone. So I was out. I was actually at Lilia's and I got an automatic alert telling me that stay inside. Do not leave your house because there's risk of flash floods and you might be harmed in the area that you're in right now. Obviously, I was already outside and I was watching the sewer system blow up in the international marketplace, which isn't fun. Nicole,
crazy.
Yeah. Liz has actually seen a video of that.
Yeah.
Wasn't fun. I was wading through water this high in Waikiki, but no actual flash flood happened. So this system also exists in Maui. It's an island-wide system. However, something else also exists in the islands. About 400 sirens are installed all over the islands to warn people, to get people to evacuate, to, trigger warnings. Guess what didn't happen?
Those didn't go off either, and then
the sirens the sirens didn't go off. Apparently a message was sent out, which would be fine. However, Lahaina reportedly lost mobile reception and power before that. So the residents of Lahaina never received those warnings. That's the current state of investigation. Obviously, this is subject to change as they investigate further. It's very early on. But apparently this is what happens. And also, they believe that because the winds were so fast and so strong that the fire spread way too fast for these things to have had a chance to really warn people. So the self-coordinated evacuation was the only way for residents to get out. Because they just didn't have time.
Yeah, I read about the winds being a
Yeah.
huge factor.
You'd think that the major risk of a hurricane is the water from above and the winds, not necessarily the fire.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I never would have guessed. I never would have correlated a hurricane with fire at all. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
me neither. I mean, I experienced one. They're not fun. They're very wet and very windy, but you don't really relate a fire to that.
No, it's for example, I have a condo in Florida on Fort Myers Beach, and that got taken out with Hurricane Ian last fall. There was an 18-foot storm surge, so the entire island was under 18 feet of water. There was no fire though, because to your point, it's about the rain. It's about you don't anticipate a fire when you hear a hurricane coming towards you.
Yeah.
I would think as a resident, nobody was thinking fire. Everybody was thinking flooding and that kind of stuff, and wind.
They were.
To your point.
They were.
Yeah,
We've seen cast and crew being worried about the hurricane. Actually,
Yep.
The ones that are still on Oahu, we've seen that. They've shared that in the stories, and then the fire happened, and suddenly the hurricane warning and the fire created this perfect storm that destroyed this very old whale fishing town that is one of the most beautiful towns in Hawaii. Or was.
Had you gone there before when you guys were in? So you guys hadn't made it over there?
No.
Okay.
No. I gotta be honest, I wasn't really interested in going to Maui. I wanted to, see all of Oahu first, and then maybe, actually, it was our plan to go there next year.
Oh no.
It was yours too.
Oh, you're talking about, well, not, I was saying I thought you were thinking Maui. I was like, no, I was going to Waikiki. So yeah, it was definitely on my list.
Wasn't it Maui and Big Island too?
Oh yeah, because I want to go to the national parks. That's valid. I did want to do all the
Haleakala and the volcanoes.
Yes.
So it was Maui and Big Island too that we planned. Well, it's not going to be Maui now, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I don't think that by February it's a good idea to go. The residents need the resources themselves. They can't exactly host people, which is also one thing that everybody who's listening to it, please, please, please do not start planning a trip to Maui until the residents are telling you it's okay again, until they've recovered and grieved, and there's no timeline for grief or recovery.
Yeah, one of my neighbors was supposed to actually go there next week. And so he obviously canceled his plans, and he was really kind. He actually donated all of his vacation money that he was going to spend there down to the Red Cross. So it was very kind of him. I was like, I'm going to mention you on the podcast, Jeff. No, so yeah, it was really nice.
Rightfully so. That is a good reaction.
Yeah,
that is a very good reaction to your canceled plans.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, he could have been devastated. There's people. Because I was reading.
He probably is. He was looking forward to his vacation.
Oh, totally. Yeah. There's people. They were showing news articles on the news tonight of people that were very upset because they couldn't fly to Maui and their vacation was ruined, and just it's just so rude of people to think about themselves in a situation like this.
Shout out to the pen that's currently on Oahu. she canceled her Maui plans, obviously, and instead of complaining about it, she's just showing pictures of Oahu because what else is she gonna do?
And who doesn't love a good picture of Oahu? That's
and it's nobody's trying to ruin her vacation. She understands that, which I am applauding her for. And she also did the right thing by canceling a flight to Maui.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy Oahu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the people need it more than the vacationers. So hopefully people can respect that.
Yeah. So do we want to learn a little bit about Lahaina?
Yeah, I was reading. There's some. I'm gonna sound so uneducated, but there was a really cool house that was there, or a museum or something that was like the original house or king. I don't know what it is. That burned down. I did read about that, but yes, teach away, Yve.
I mean, I don't have that much about that. I just know that in Lahaina, it was originally a fishing town. And it was one of the towns that was actually conquered by Kamehameha the Great. Which is kind of cool. Okay, let's just read a little bit from Wikipedia, because obviously before Kamehameha not much is known. So it was originally called Lele. It is what the book actually said. It is about the sun. The name is about the sun. And Kaka'alaneo originally ruled it before Kamehameha
conquered it.
Thank you. And Lahaina was the capital of Hawaii from 1820 to 1845. The son of Kamehameha, Kamehameha III, actually preferred to be in Lahaina as opposed to Honolulu. And he built a palace complex there on a 1-acre island. Near center of town, apparently. Yeah. There were Christian missionaries. What else is new? They were literally everywhere. Yeah, in 1845, capital was moved back to Honolulu. Lahaina then was center of the whaling industry, as it was still legal then. And that's where a lot of these buildings came from. And I am really, really fucking sorry to tell you, Nicole, but I was right about the banyan tree. So we've been talking a lot, and one of the pictures and one of the videos that we saw burnt down banyan tree. So the banyan trees were originally imported and given to the royals. So the banyan tree was planted by William Smith on April 24th, 1873, which makes the tree about 200 years old.
Sad.
On January 1st, 1919, a major fire destroyed more than 30 buildings in Lahaina before it was extinguished by residents. This fire back in 1990, and I feel like that is the biggest irony of it all. This fire actually is credited to be what led to the creation of the island-wide Maui Fire Department.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And there is the Lahaina Fort, which was originally built in 1832. And yeah, The next entry of the history of Lahaina is, as you probably guessed it, in August 2023. Much of Lahaina was destroyed by wildfires. As of August 11, at least 67 people had been confirmed dead, and Governor Josh Green warned that the death toll will rise. And I absolutely believe that, because it's not been enough time to go through all the rubble. And depending on where you are and what heat you've been exposed to, it's going to be incredibly hard to find your remains.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I was reading an article too that said, a lot of people had to hop in the water because it happened so fast. And that's, to me, as someone that's terrified of being in water, I can't imagine having to choose between a fire coming at you or hopping in water and treading water until you're saved. But they were saying they didn't know how many people had hopped into the water, so there could be people that have gone missing actually in the water as well.
I'm going to be an asshole now. That means that within the next days, we're going to have the death toll rise. Well, we might have the death toll rise due to people drowning in the water. Because eventually the bodies will fill up with gas and be beached.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that is a real possibility that there's going to be bodies on the beach of Lahaina soon, or close to that.
Yeah.
Not a pretty picture.
Thankfully, or not thankfully, but thankfully in some murder cases, putting bodies in lakes is actually not a really good way to hide bodies. So they always come back up. Unless you fill them with rocks first, which is a bit of cursed knowledge to have. Yep. Some murderers did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did your anything that you saw, did it talk about the, I'm going to say this wrong, Waiola Church?
Waiola?
No. Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, that was a church that had been around for like 200 plus years too. And that burned down.
Probably built by the missionaries.
Yep. Yeah, they were saying it had just celebrated its 200th anniversary. That's where the royals had a lot of their celebrations. In the cemetery next door is where a lot of the royals are buried. So they lost a lot of their culture.
The picture on
that.
The picture on the fundraiser is actually from one of the buildings very close to that, if not the building itself. I don't know about the church as I don't know if I've said that on the podcast yet, but I do not give a damn about Christianity.
Yeah.
So
I don't go to church or anything like that. I wasn't raised in a religious family, but it seems like in our culture, especially Hawaiian, but just in general, it's everybody knows where the churches are. So yeah, that's always the first thing. Like when I do travel, I always find the beautiful churches, even though I would probably be burned if I ever went in one. But
I'm more interested in the graveyards.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So another piece of history about Hawaii is that one of Kamehameha's sons actually converted to Christianity very early on. He also had a very good relationship with the British monarchs to the point where I think he even died in England. And the British monarchs shipped him back to be buried properly, which is nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But that is just memory in the top of my head. I could be wrong. Fact check me, please, people. But basically, and it was actually pushed, the change to Christianity was pushed by, again, fact check me, by the mother of said son of Kamehameha, because back in the Hawaiian Islands, women didn't have the kind of luxuries that they had with Christianity, which is weird because women didn't have many luxuries with Christianity either.
Yeah.
But, you know, back in the Hawaiian Islands, women didn't eat in the same house as men, and so on. So the mingling between having food together that started with Christianity and everything, apparently, allegedly. I've read that in a book. I am 100% sure that I've read that in a book. It's actually right behind me. If it wasn't the case, I am sorry. I don't mean to insult, but this is what scholars are saying. And it's been 200 years, so I gotta trust those in this case. Yeah. So he converted to Christianity, and which is one of the reasons why ultimately a lot of the culture was lost as they moved to Christianity. And then we know what America did. We all know what America did. I don't have to say it. You know it.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why I will never go to the Dole Plantation. So help me God.
Is that is that on Maui, or is that on?
It's on Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We passed it a couple of times.
Yeah, we did.
Oh God. Oh yes. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
you did tell
inevitable.
me
It's like smack dab in the middle to going to the North Shore from Honolulu.
Oh, okay.
Kind of have to pass it, unless you lose your way, like I did last time. Kind of. In my defense, kind of lost my way. And we went from to explain. We went from Maui, from Aulani to the North Shore. You can actually miss the plantation if you go from Aulani to the North Shore. Figured that one out now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Lahaina, a beautiful historic city, is just gone.
It's crazy how it can just happen in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to guarantee you once humanity is gone, nature is going to reclaim us in no time. Cities are going to get greener. Animals are going to return to the cities, and we'll just be forgotten. Unless the entire planet burns down first.
Yeah, it's crazy how many fires there's been this year. Seems like, there's and
You
record
haven't
heat
even
and
heard of all of them at this point, because I guarantee you that the American media and the European media doesn't report on all of them. There's fires in South America, there's fires in Africa, there's fires in Australia, there's fires we will never hear about because it doesn't affect the right kind of people.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but the less dead apply even to this. The less dead apply to all kinds of media reporting. The best victim is the white girl, the small white girl. That's what they love to report about, because that gets the most outrage. And in this case, it's Paradise that got destroyed.
Yeah. Is there a lot of news coverage in Canada and Germany of the Maui? Or you guys having to kind of search for it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have news coverage of it, obviously.
Okay.
Funnily enough, what I found with being in America a lot, we have more widespread news coverage in Germany than in America a lot of the times. We don't necessarily hear about all of the stuff that's going on in America. We hear about the big stuff that's going on in America, but we hear about stuff in other countries too.
Okay.
To a greater extent that you guys in America hear. So we have a little bit of a different focus in our news reporting. But yeah, Hawaii is news basically everywhere.
Yeah, we're gonna be hearing a lot less about that because Canada just passed a law that news articles cannot be posted on like Google, social media, anything like that. So we're blocked from seeing like anything. So like if there's a news article like on Facebook, like we won't be able to get the link and stuff.
That's crazy. But what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's some Donald Trump shit.
It's so
Actually,
like,
no, he would never do that because it will prevent his fake news.
so the what they're saying is the idea, and I really have to look more into it, but they're basically saying that they're trying to protect like the journalism, excuse me, like the journalism things. So like you can still get your news like on an app, like if you do like, so CTV is one of our news outlets, like you can still have like the CTV app and you can still get your news and you can still have
But you have to
all of
pay
the
for
apps.
it.
No, you don't. It's just it can't be posted on like social media. So like CTV used to have like a Facebook page, right? They can no longer post those articles on the Facebook page, but you can read those articles on their official app or their official website. It's just you can't.
How on earth is that protecting anything?
I have no idea. Okay, like
Yeah.
this one I don't understand Canada wise, and don't even get me started about living in the backwards province that I live in. But hey, we won't go there because that's a whole other debate. But yeah, I think it came into effect. Could it have even been like today? Like today or yesterday? I haven't even like really checked because I've been so busy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we have all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, in the US there'd be riots and all sorts of stuff if anything like that was proposed, but you know how we love a good argument, so but I wish that we were more global in our news, to be honest. I think immediately when you told me about the fire, I was sad because I'm like, shouldn't I know about something going on in the US before? Not to be mean, a German 7 hours ahead of me knows about it. You know what I mean? I wish that we had that global view. We seem to talk a lot about Mexico. We talk a lot about China. And we talk a lot about like the Middle East. That seems to be where we're really focused, unless
It is
something crazy
self-interest.
happens. Oh yeah,
It sounds a
exactly.
lot like
That's all it is.
self-interest.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, our news are currently, have been for over a year now, are currently dominated by Ukraine, obviously, as that affects us. So that is a domineering topic. Everything that happens in Ukraine gets reported. But yeah, if something happens in Africa, we're absolutely going to have it in the news. But again, not everything, because less dead. I hate to say it, but news are still racist as fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of reporting from China, Japan,
that stuff.
But we always have to keep in mind that our news tend to be still racist. Not every news outlet. There's news outlets that are trying really hard, but the major news, they don't report about the less dead.
Yeah.
And I keep saying that, and I realize that I haven't even explained the less dead. And you both look at me like, what the fuck
We're
are
waiting.
you on about?
Because I get it. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I thought
So
you were
the less
explaining
dead
it.
is a term that is used for people that get noticed less if they're dead. So that applies to sex workers, that applies to Black children, that applies to poor people, homeless people, any kind of people that you feel would be noticed less in any form. Those are people that apply to the term less dead, because when they're dead, people don't necessarily always investigate. So if there was a Black girl and a white girl killed by a serial killer, the white girl will be the one they report about, not the Black girl. I hate that it's the reality, but that's how racist journalism still is. And not necessarily intentionally, but the white girl story just sells more. So it caters to the racism that prevails in our country to this day. In our countries plural
Yeah,
because
I'll
we're
say
3 different
we've
countries.
got it too. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been, yeah, not to get into race and all that stuff on here, but yeah, it's been interesting. I guess I shouldn't say interesting. It's been eye-opening.
Yeah.
A lot of the research that's been done since a lot of the uproar, from like George Floyd and stuff here in the U.S.
Mm,
Obviously, George Floyd happened 20 miles from my house. Not
mm.
even, I don't think. It's been rather, like I said, it's been rather eye-opening to see all those facts, because people can spew opinions and stuff, and sometimes I feel like the news will even do that, a little bit of bias, but having those actual hard facts it's rather disappointing to hear all of that with
To
facts.
be fair, it is physically impossible for a news anchor, for anyone writing a report, to not be biased.
Yeah.
Because their opinion will always dictate the language that they use, even if they're trying to just list the facts. Just
Yeah.
Mhm.
by ranking one fact before the other, there is a little bit of bias.
Yeah, which makes sense, because yeah, then it leads into the whole how you were raised, yeah, all of that. Yeah, you could go on and on. But yeah. Yeah, sad day for Maui. Sad
Yeah.
week, month, year.
And going back to the less dead, actually, this is one of the things that I'm a bit critical in Germany about the reports. A lot of the reports in Maui are focusing on the German resident, the German expats that lost stuff there, because, yeah, it's just the way we report often. We often try to find a German that's been affected in some way and have their opinion. On one case, it is the practicality that they actually speak the language. On the other hand, it has the underlying feeling of Hawaiians are part of the less dead for us.
Mm.
At least that's the feeling that I'm getting with every news report that's focusing on a German instead of asking a Hawaiian resident, Kanaka, that's actually a native Hawaiian, for what they lost, because I can guarantee you the German expat that was lost their restaurant is affected less by the cultural loss than a native Hawaiian is. As you mentioned, the church, for the city center with the whaling, the fact that it used to be Hawaii's capital, none of that is reported here.
Yeah.
Unless you look like you actually had like a snake in your basement now.
There was some stuff crawling across. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Mhm.
You don't sleep down there, do you?
No, God no.
Okay, good.
God
Okay.
no.
You're usually down there when we're recording. That's why I was like, oh God, that's not her room, right?
No. It's because it's quiet, and
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
have family in town right now that's like in the bedroom next to me, so I can't exactly be on a call at 11:30 at night.
No, not at all.
With
Yeah, makes
him
total
trying to
sense.
sleep, and yeah, so it's either it's either like my parents are upstairs or family in the next room. So that's why
Yeah.
like the days that I'm in my bedroom, like when I have my white chair and my background with the E and everything, that's when like nobody's home. When I have like the two-toned wall with the two lights, that's the country. And then 99% of the time I am
Here
here
you are.
in
Yeah.
the
The
basement.
basement dweller.
Yeah,
With
but
the
like I said,
crawly thing.
the basement's kind of destroyed right now. So when I came down here, I was like, I hope I'm gonna be able to do it down here because it's not so fun.
It's accidentally on theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, true.
kind of smells bad down here too. So
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
kind of
flooding might do
happens
that.
after
Yeah.
flood.
Yeah.
yeah, so I currently have like no carpet, and the concrete is like pebbly. So
Oh, what an
Yeah.
image. Yes.
yeah,
Ugh.
it's yeah. And the basement was never really fun to be in all that much anyways, but now that there's no like subfloor, it's
I mean, basements aren't meant to be fun, so there's that.
Yeah. I mean, we hang out down here quite a bit in this house because like the big couch that I'm sitting on is down here, and like one of our better TVs is down here and stuff. But it's a pretty big space. But yeah.
Yeah. Still, it'll be nice when you go back upstairs where your bedroom is, and it's
Yes, and go to bed.
And go to bed, that too, yes, because
Yeah.
I do have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize, going back to the Lahaina thing, I didn't realize the fire's only 80% contained. I thought it was naively me. I thought it was completely contained, but it's not.
Mm,
They said that there's 6 fires that are still burning in Maui and Big Island.
wow.
Yeah. That's also one of the things that is something that other news don't report. It sounds a lot like the fires in Maui are out. They're not. They're still wildfires.
Yeah. I guess I haven't looked to see if Dora moved on. I'm assuming it did, but
Hopefully, because we don't want
That's
to
true.
repeat performance of that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's depressing enough.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time where we will talk about the show again. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, guys. And
Bye.
keep your eyes peeled for the fundraiser. If you have a spare dollar even, send it our way.
Yeah.
We will pass it on. Thank
Yep,
you so much for listening and fact check the weird things I said. I've read that in a book in research for my book, so I do not retain everything. My brain is only so big, even though I have a big head. So see you guys.
Bye.